Record. All right, JJ, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. JJ Chuan is a multi-local who has been working and living in Singapore, Malaysia, New York, and Shanghai. She graduated from Parsons, the New School of Design in New York, and is a recipient of the, I'm probably going to mess this up, Yealy Fellowship Program, which she learned from the luxury designer Yealy in New York, who advocates locally made, zero waste, and sustainable practices. JJ created Rehyphen with the aim of solving real life problems. Run by mother-daughter duo, the brand produced all of its product locally in Singapore. She is appointed by Kevin McLeod as one of his top 7 green heroes. The Swiss watchmaker Quorum announced JJ as their first ambassador of Quorum in Singapore. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Well, I know that you're in Singapore right now, so it's nighttime. So
Yes.
it's early in the morning here stateside. But why don't you maybe let the listeners know, like a little bit of background, like what was like your first experience with design?
My first experience in designs, I guess, is back in my high school. So when I want to try to design my school uniform, yeah, that was my first experience of design.
And what was it? Oh, go ahead.
And my background is actually I studied fashion designs, but I saw a lot of because I have working in Shanghai before, so I visited a lot of factories and saw a lot of like waste in the factories that makes me rethink about the whole industries, and I want to make something more meaningful to the world. Yeah.
Nice. And what type of things did you learn while you were, I guess, in school about fashion and about design? Like, what were some of the courses you took?
I guess Parson taught me a lot about like upcycle and sustainable design in the process of making the clothes. So they will ask you to keep thinking about the process, because everyone is talking about sustainable designs, but I guess a lot of people are not sure like what is behind the scene of like making the clothes. So I guess my lecturers like keep pushing us to rethink about the supply chain, the behind the scene, like the manufacturers, things like that.
Fantastic. And you kind of took a job out of college, didn't you? You worked in the luxury space. Maybe what was like your first job coming out of school?
My first job coming out of school, actually, I graduated from Singapore at first, and then it hit the 2008, the economic crisis, and I flew to Shanghai to get an interviews, and I got the jobs in Shanghai and worked there, starting as a designer and slowly become a business development manager. So I started to deal with a lot of like departmental stores, like signing contracts and opening up the stores. So things like that. It also helps me when I study my own business as well. Yeah.
What were some of the department stores were you kind of working with?
Mostly like sports department store, as well as like those mass market department stores.
Yep. And so you were in this role. What was like your next step after that?
Well, like when I was working in Shanghai, besides doing my day jobs, I also volunteer in the Shanghai World Expo in 2010. So I still remember the theme is about better city, better lives, something like that. So a lot of things about sustainable trends, like 5 years ahead, before 2010. So I get like a sneak peek into the trends, and it makes me it makes my designs like it keep pushing me on my designs as well. Yeah.
And when did you start to think about your actual business? Like, when did you think you wanted to start your business, and like, how long did it take you to actually get started?
Actually, I didn't expect I would start my business, honestly. Uh, it started very organic. So when I moved back to New York, I found this box of cassette tapes. So when I was in high school, I used to record like what I want to say, and then my music in the cassette tapes. And because one of my best friends, she moves to Australia, so we use this cassette tape as a communication tool to connect to each other, because like international call is super expensive for the students. So when I saw this box of cassette tapes, it reminds me about my memories, but I don't want to throw it away. So I was thinking of how can I like reuse it in a more meaningful way. So I started to like pull the tapes out and weave into a piece of fabric. And the first piece of fabric, I call it music cloth. I sent it to this library called Material Connection Library. So they specially source like innovative material from all over the world. So after 2 weeks, they send me an email and say that they are very interested in this fabric and they want to include it in the library. So that's how we started to weave the music cloth. And slowly we turn the music cloth into like different products.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you've made some really, good partnerships with, really well-established companies. Maybe, talk about like how do how do you work with like, whether it's like an Airbnb or some of the other companies that you've worked with, like how do you kind of make these partnerships? Do you just reach out to them, or does it come organically where they reach out to you?
Sometimes they reach out to me, and sometimes is I approach them. So for Airbnb, the story is one of my friend, she joined the design week in Singapore, and she told me about, oh, Airbnb is launching the new product called Airbnb Experience. So I thought the weaving is very unique, and I have never seen someone else doing this before. Probably you can join the Airbnb Experience and like do a workshops and share this technique to others. And I think that was really cool in the first place, because I don't imagine myself like having a workshop and teach people stuff like this. So I started to approach Airbnb, and they invited me to their office, have like a introductory class, because I was one of the first two batch for their experience products. Yeah, so that was really fun, and we just start from there.
Yeah, that's great. Um, and what about Quorum? How did you work with them?
Quorum. So previously we were invited into like podcasts like this in Singapore. The radio station is called UFM 100.3. So they invited us to showcase our products in their radio stations. And one of the marketing managers in Quorum, she saw the live stream video, and she contacted me. Yeah. So basically, we have some like campaign collaborations. Like I'm wearing their watches and also going to their events, and they also help me promote my product as well.
And maybe talk about the product that you offer today. Like, what are some of the different variations of the product that you offer? Like, maybe explain what the product is and who it's for.
Okay, so we have different ranges of products for different customers. Our bestseller is actually our customized music cloth city map. So people actually can customize their own cities, and we use the cassette tapes to weave into their cities. And we also, so the empty tapes that we finish using for our music club, we will upcycle them into a greeting card. So we type some meaningful quotes, or people could customize their own quotes in the end tapes, and it can be turned and read the message inside. So it's a very unique greeting cards that a lot of teenagers, they especially like it because they have never seen this before. Yeah, so it's very new to them. And beside like home decor lifestyle products, we also have accessories like clutch bag, tote bags, and stationery products like notebook as well.
Perfect. And so what's working from a marketing perspective? Like, how do you get the word out? I know you have an Instagram account. Um, how do you think about building the business?
So like for media coverage and stuff like this, mostly like the media or the journalists, they approach us. So we will prepare like a press kit to ready to send to them, and like high resolutions images to send to them. And we are still building up our social media, like collaborating with different brands and partners, and also some influencer, and also people who bought our products. We will ask them to like reshare on the Instagram or Facebook and tag us as well.
What's like a typical day for you? Are you spending most of your time weaving cassette tapes, or are you spending more time, you know, contacting influencers or, fielding media requests, or both?
Um, I would say the second one. Yeah, because I have like people who help me with the music club. So I do with it when I am free, but most of the time I'm doing more on the business side and like marketing and like develop new products. We also hire like people with disability to train them as our weaver. So we are known as a social responsibility, social company as well, social enterprise. Yeah.
Great. Um, and so what are you kind of most excited about for this year? I know it's been, challenging because there's not like trade fairs, or,
Yeah.
there's not like as much travel. How are you kind of managing through the pandemic, and maybe talk about like, what are some things you're looking forward to?
Yeah, this year is tough because like a lot of our events was canceled like around March. So we are like launching different kind of like digital fairs with the organizer. So our upcoming digital fair will be Maison and Object. They are in Paris, but they are currently launching digital fairs online. And also we do have retailer in Taiwan that also help us in promoting our products. And also Dubai as well. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Just wanted to kind of get the story out there. Where can listeners follow you, and where can they connect with you?
Okay, thank you. Thanks so much.
Where can the listeners follow you? What's your Instagram?
My Instagram account is Rehyphen, RE_HYPHEN.
Perfect. And website?
www.rehyphen.org.
Great. Thanks, JJ.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.